Hi guys, and welcome back to CG's Trini Cooking, and today I will be showing you guys how I make dumpling and saltfish. So today I'm going to be making cornmeal dumpling and saltfish. Saltfish is known by two other names as far as I'm concerned, bacala and codfish. So right now I'm going to show you guys how to make the dumpling. The ingredients I'm going to be using for my dumpling today is I have about 5 cups of flour here. I have 2.5 cups of cornmeal, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Yes, I put sugar in my dumpling, and some cold water. I have almost 4 cups of cold water here. You add the water accordingly. I use cold water because the cold water combines the flour better. If you use warm water, the dumpling is going to be too soft. You want your dumpling to be a little stiff when kneading the flour, so it's easy to cut and easy for boiling. So I'm just going to add my cornmeal into my flour. I'm going to add my brown sugar. All of it in there. And then I'm going to add my salt. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take our hands. My hands are clean. We're just going to knead, just mix all the ingredients up together into the bowl like this. So mix all the ingredients up evenly. And then we're going to add the water to knead the flour. So again, as I said, you just add water accordingly. Your flour must not be too wet. Saltfish is, you can eat saltfish with basically anything as well. You can eat saltfish with bread, with dumplings, with provision, with plantains. You can enjoy it with anything. So I'm just kneading my flour here for my dumpling. See, I'm trying to combine all the other dry flour together with the wet flour, so that will be easy to knead. And then I'm starting the kneading process. When kneading the flour, it should start to combine and look like this. And then you knead it in to form a nice dough. Remember, I told you want your dough stiff and not too wet. When I'm finished kneading the dough, I'm going to I already have a pot with boiling water on with salt water in it that I'm going to, as long as it's completely boiling, you can cut your dumpling in any shape that you like. I like to roll my dumpling out and cut it up spoon size so it's easy to eat. So I'm going to finish kneading the dumpling, and I'll show you guys how I cut it up to put it into the pot. Okay, so guys, after kneading my dough, this is how my dumpling dough looks. See, it's not too soft. It has a nice firm texture. So I just cut my dumpling like this. And with one, when you cut it, I do this. Easy, very, very simple. And then I just cut it up into small pieces. Or I will hold it in my hand, just as I rolled it just now. Squeeze, roll. Or you can hold it in your hand like this and just go over the pot of boiling water and cut the dumpling up into pieces. Dumpling doesn't take very long to cook. 15 minutes max, 15 or more, according as long as the flour is cooked. You'll know when your dumpling is finished cooking. They will float to the top of the pot. I like them this size because when you pick up your stuff on your plate to eat, they're already bite size. So you don't have to cut no dumpling. Your dumpling is bite size already. Fits right in your spoon, straight in your mouth. So you guys got the idea. You just cut, I squeeze, and roll with your hand. So now we're going to put them in the pot until you completely finish rolling and cutting all. You just continue to add in the pot, and then you'll see them floating. When they float again, as I said, is when your dumpling is ready to be taken out. So now we're going to show them how they look in the pot as I put them. So guys, I already went ahead and added some of my dumpling to the pot. They have not yet started to float. So I'm going to continue to cut the rest of my dumplings up and add them to the pot. I'm almost finished cutting them all up. We take our spoon, we stir the dumplings. Your dumplings should be looking like this. Again, you can cut your dumpling up in any shape, form, style. Feel free to cut your dumpling up however you want. I just prefer to cut my dumpling up like this. And when I do crab and dumpling, I cut my dumpling up in a different form, shape. So this is my dumpling. We're just waiting for them to boil and float to the top. Give or take, you can give your dumpling 15 to 16 minutes to cook, as long as they all float into the top. And then we're going to strain them. So guys, as you can see, as I said, as long as your dumpling starts to float, mean that your dumpling is cooked. See how the dumplings are all floating to the top? It's like cooking pasta. Just that these are a little heavier, so it needs a little longer time to cook, but my dumplings are all finished cooking, and we're going to strain them now. So guys, when your dumpling is finished boiling and strained, your dumpling should look like this. See, they're not sticking to one another. They're very movable. This is how your dumpling should look. So I'm going to do the saltfish now so that you guys can see step for step how I do the saltfish to go with the dumpling. So we'll be right back. So guys, as I told you before, I'm going to get the saltfish prep to eat and enjoy with the dumplings. So this is my saltfish. This is 1.5 pounds of the Canadian saltfish. I went ahead and boiled it and deboned it. I don't like bone in my food, like those saltfish and stuff, so I made it my business and made sure I had all those fine miserable bones taken out. So what I like to do with my saltfish, I know some people like to have their saltfish chunky. I don't. I like to have my saltfish very fine when I'm cooking it. So I already have my pot preheating. So while my pot is preheating, I'm gonna shred my saltfish. Well, what I like to do, I like to shred my saltfish like this, like really fine. I'll shred my saltfish really fine like this. Just basically take my hand and just mash it up together. You get the idea, right? Just mashing up the saltfish really fine. Now saltfish already have salt in it. I boiled it, so a good amount of the salt already came out. So when you're doing saltfish, you don't really need to add any type of seasoning in it. You can add green seasoning, but what I do, I have pimento and garlic and onion and tomatoes and some black pepper and my little ketchup. I like to add ketchup in my saltfish when I'm doing it to eat with dumpling and stuff. That's just my way of doing it. So I'm going to continue to shred the saltfish, and when it's ready, I'll show you how it looks at the end. So I went ahead and I shredded my bacala codfish, saltfish with my hand, and this is how it should look. This is how I like to do mine. So for this saltfish recipe, we are going to be adding onions, tomatoes. I have in my bowl here my pimento peppers. You guys know how I am about my pimento peppers. As I said, it adds flavor to your pot. I have some black pepper. I have garlic. I usually like to just pound my garlic. I have about 8 grains of garlic in this, but I usually like to pound my garlic and saute it into the pot. It's your choice if you would like to cut your garlic up, like mince your garlic into pieces. It's up to you. I have half of a habanero pepper here, hot pepper, and about 2 tablespoons and a half of ketchup. So I'm gonna move over to the pot now to begin sauteing. So guys, I have my pot preheated here. I'm gonna be using extra virgin olive oil. I like it in my saltfish. Notice it's the one for sauteing, stir frying. Some olive oil is used for salad and stuff. So you just add oil generously. So this is the amount I put into my pot because you want to create like a nice sauce for your saltfish to eat with your dumpling. And then you add your onions. Just add the onions, you add the pimentos, add the hot pepper. Hot pepper is optional if you like. Again, I like my food spicy. My kids don't really have a problem with it, nor my husband. I add my garlic. So I will add these stuff first before I actually add my tomatoes and my saltfish. So the very last thing that I will add into this will be my ketchup. So you just want to stir, making sure the oil gets on everything that we have in the pot right now. And you want it to get tender and nice. It depends on how much saltfish you're using. You can add any amount of onion, any amount of tomatoes that you like. But I like a lot of onion and tomatoes. I make my food very rich, as you can tell. I like a lot of ingredients in my pot. So I add a lot of onions and a lot of my tomatoes and my saltfish and stuff. Again, I feed, I cook, and I share food. I like to see people happy when they eat. So we're just going to let this saute here, and we'll return to it. So our onions has cooked down really nicely with our peppers and pimento and garlic. So now I'm going to add my saltfish into the pot. And I'm just going to mix it all up. Now as I add my saltfish, I'm going to add my tomatoes as well. And then I'm going to add some black pepper. Again, you can add accordingly to your taste. And we're just going to mix everything up. And now I'm going to add the ketchup. And mix everything up. And then you leave it to cook until it simmers and you see a nice sauce, the oil, everything will cook down and look really nicely. We just cover it back and leave it to cook for another 5-10 minutes or more. We'll return. So guys, this is the end of my video, and this is the presentation. This is my saltfish and dumpling with my zavoka, avocado, and my hot pepper. This is actually my husband's dinner. I hope you guys like my video. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, try my recipe, and do let me know how it came out. Thank you.